Well, we've taken a point away from Goodison Park, and to be honest, after the first 20 minutes, I was telling my stream this could be 4 or 5, and luckily I was proven wrong. After 2 substitutions that Ruben made in the second half, we showed a lot of bottle, and we got ourselves back into it against an absolutely, what's the word to describe it? Just exuberant Goodison Park crowd. Obviously, our final time at Goodison Park, and the crowd were really up for this one. I mean, whether we are shit, whether we are good, we are always the biggest club in the Premier League, and the crowd really turned up for that one. It's a big shout out to the Goodison crowd because they made it really, really hard for us. And yeah, with that lineup we put out, I was very, very nervous. It's basically the best team we can pick. I mean, Garnacho being dropped was a bit of a big call, but I think it was probably the right decision after how he performed against Tottenham. And I thought he came on and did a really good job today. So a good bounce back by Garnacho. But overall, Everton with the better side. They dominated us for 60 minutes pretty much. We had no chances, and when we did get a chance, it was basically just a heavy touch right into the gloves of Jordan Pickford. So yeah, overall, I think Everton were the far better team for majority of the game. It was just that half an hour. We really showed the individual quality when some of our guys can get going, because for 60 minutes, I was being reminded why this is the worst Manchester United side in Premier League history. Like, this is such a bad team, and we need so many reinforcements. And I see people blaming the manager on social media, and I just giggle because no one in their right mind could possibly be blaming Ruben Amorim for any of this in the past few games, or ever since he's joined the club, really, this season. Let's take a look player by player. Andre Onana, really bad game. We need to be looking at replacing him soon enough. I gave it... He had a decent season last season, apart from the Champions League, which was just inexcusable. For a Manchester United goalkeeper, he needs to be having far less mistakes than what he's having, and I really think we need to be in the market for someone new, like a Zion Suzuki, who we went at a few years ago for a very low price, but he didn't come because he was going to be second choice keeper. He wasn't going to get games, and he's gone and become first choice somewhere else and plays really well. So even if we have to pay upwards of 40 million, Zion Suzuki's a guy I'd love, Japanese goalkeeper. But yeah, Onana's going to be a guy that's being replaced because he just keeps palming it into danger. His distribution is absolutely terrible for a guy that is applauded for how good he is with his feet. Yeah, really needs to go. De Ligt was terrible. Like, probably his worst game in a Man United shirt, to be honest. Nearly gave away a pen at the end. I mean, him and Maguire, joint effort. Yeah, I thought De Ligt was really bad. Caught out of position multiple times. He was in no man's land on that second goal. He left Maguire in a really hard position, which I saw some people blaming Maguire for that second goal. Quickly get onto him. But honestly, he's not going to win an aerial duel 2-on-1 when he can't see the ball and Decore from the back is flying in and reading it perfectly. So I'm not blaming Maguire for that second goal. I thought he had a few iffy moments, but also a few really good tackles. So I thought Maguire was probably our best centre-half. I thought Mazraoui was a bit hit and miss. He got taken off. He was okay. But I thought De Ligt was really the one that let down our backline. Moving into midfield, moving on to the wing-backs, Patrick Dorgu for me for majority of the game. Or, not majority, maybe the first 50 minutes or so was definitely our best player. Certainly the first half, I thought he was a really, really bright spark, Patrick Dorgu. His link-up with Fernandes was absolutely phenomenal. Those little 1-2s, Bruno read him so well, and it's just so nice to have a left-footed left wing-back that can put crosses into the box, and he was serving Højlund and Xerxes, maybe not on a platter, but at least he was getting balls in there, causing an issue, and he's a really good crosser of the ball. And when we're on some corners where a left-footer would be bending it in, I'd say put Dorgu on these corners because Ahmad was taking corners for us for a while when we were whipping them in. And Bruno's back out on those corners and he just cannot get it over the first man. It's so hard to watch. But yeah, overall, Dorgu had a really good game. Really good in coincision with Bruno. And yeah, really happy with how Patrick Dorgu's tracking in his first, 2 or 3 games. He's only 20 years of age. So yeah, real exciting prospect we've got on our hands out there. We've just got to take those small wins. Casemiro wasn't good. Got taken off. Very slow, very sluggish. Lost it a few times. Just a classic Casemiro game. Played a few remarkable balls over the top, which has never what he's been known as a footballer. He's been known as a hard-nosed, well-positioned defensive midfielder, and he's just completely changed his game now that he's older. And sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Classic Casemiro. UCATT was absolutely fantastic. I mean, every time he puts on a Man United shirt, it feels like he's having a fantastic performance. He's definitely been one of our best players this season. He found his first goal for us today, which was a really, really good thing to see. It was a really well-taken goal as well. On the half volley, whacked past Jordan Pickford. from the edge of the box. But yeah, I thought Ugarte in midfield, he's so good technically. Like, before he joined the club, I knew what he was as a defensive midfielder, but he sort of had to adapt playing in this midfield pivot under Ruben, because obviously we bought him under Ten Hag, and I didn't realise how good he was technically. He's so good with the ball at his feet. It's remarkable. Such an all-round, well-rounded player, and yeah, love Ugarte. Great performance by him. Diogo Dalot was a bit bang average. He played the 90 minutes. But, yeah, didn't really think he provided a lot down the right. I thought he was a bit stagnant, bit conservative. Really negative a bit more from him going forward down the right. And even defensively, a bit average. Fernandes, I thought, was our best player. What a free kick. Buried in the bottom right corner, past Jordan Pickford. Really, really lovely free kick. Great by Xerxes on the decoy, ducking down next to the wall. It was a really well-executed free kick. And I thought Bruno, as I said earlier, his link up with Dorgu was fantastic. I thought he played really well on that facet. And I thought overall he was everywhere, worked really hard, as always. A classic Bruno performance. And he had to change his role today because he was playing in a left 10 as opposed to a right 10 or in the pivot. So, yeah, I thought Bruno did really well today. And same with Xerxes. He had to change his role as well. Never really seen him playing the right side of 10. I thought he was quite good in the link-up. As I said, I thought it was a really smart little duck on the Bruno free kick, as planned, I'm going to assume. And, yeah, I thought Xerxes was okay, to be honest. He'll actually end up getting the votes because the votes were really hard to do. And Højlund, just, I'm not even going to speak about him because it would only be negative things, and I don't want to put energy into it. Lenny Yoro, decent when he came on. Garnacho was really good when he came on. I thought it was the right decision by Amram to drop him for a game after that really poor performance against Tottenham. But I thought he came on, provided a spark down the left, and overall just gave us some speed that we were really lacking. So I thought Garnacho was an important part in turning the game around. And Chido pretty much his debut. I mean, he came on for, 30 seconds against Tottenham, but this is his first, 20-minute or so cameo. He took a heavy touch, which probably could have found himself through on goal, but yeah, overall, the moral of putting the youth players out there and not looking worse than we already do came true today, because we didn't look worse than we already were when Chido Obi came on, and I thought he was okay, and I hope he actually gets a start in the next few weeks, which, we obviously don't want to rush his development or whatever, but is he really worse than Højlund? Yeah, that's all I'm thinking. Let's take a look at the votes. I've given 5 to Bruno. Thought he was great. 4 to Manuel. 3 to Dorgu, who could have probably gone more, but Bruno and Manuel were really, really good in midfield. Bruno in the 10. Xerxes gets the 2 for his... I mean, the votes were so hard to do today. Xerxes should not be getting a 2 for that performance, but he was decent in the link-up. And 1 goes to Garnacho. The leaderboard's so tight. Obviously, Ahmad's out for the season, so I doubt he wins the Player of the Year with only a 3-vote lead. Mazraoui sniffing on 59. Ugarte and Bruno are quickly steamrolling through this top 5. Bruno has been scoring votes like every game recently, so yeah, he's on a real good run. And there's an 11-vote gap between 4th and 5th. De Ligt sitting there on 38. Thank you all for watching. Our run of games coming up is quite interesting. We've got Ipswich midweek. We've then got Fulham on the weekend in the FA Cup. We've then got Real Sociedad midweek in the Europa League. Then Arsenal, then Sociedad again. So that's our next 5. Quite tough. First leg's away at Real Sociedad, and then following that, in between the two legs, is the Arsenal game. So yeah, look, a few big games coming up. We've got to take the FA Cup game seriously at the weekend, and obviously the Ipswich game is no gimme. As I've said that, Spurs have just gone 3-0 up in the opening, 20 minutes? No, they haven't. It's only 2-0. But they're steamrolling Ipswich as I'm filming this. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. We take a point. Not the most convincing performance, but a few individual moments of brilliance yet again is what saves us. Cheers.